Hello, good to have you on the program again today. It's the Economy Today on KAFTAN Television, and I believe that, as always, what we do is we work hard to ensure that when you watch this program, at the very end of it, you'll be able to say that something better has happened to your economy, either that the money has come in, or that at least there's a program, something, a plan that will help you get to have it perfected as you go on. Welcome again, Okechukwu Anibogo here. A pleasure to be here with you this moment. And let me say that I have a guest with me in the studio, and I guess I will just need to do a little introduction, and let me just introduce my guest, or later I'll talk about my guest, but let me just do the brief introduction, just saying who she is, and by the time we return to the discussion segment, I'll now tell you more about my guest on the program. But let me just say that she is Dr. Eris Danladi, and she is a community development expert. Doc, good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Right, and we'll say welcome again.
Thank you.
Right, we will be discussing community development as well today on the program. We want to find out more about not just discussing community development, but we want to see how people can move in tandem with the rest of the world, I mean, in community development efforts. So we'll go on with all this. But before we do any other thing, let's take this break. It's not really a break. It's another segment of the program that we want to bring in immediately. That's talking about the business news. Let's take the business news. We'll return or take some other things like the stock exchange and all that before we get into the discussion proper. Welcome again. If we had a better structure,
NRC has announced a temporary increase in operations on the Lagos-Ibadan train service corridor, scheduled 6 train trips for Thursday, May 26, 2026, to accommodate higher passenger demand during the Salah celebration. And according to NRC, the adjustment is aimed at easing travel pressures as Nigerians move across cities to celebrate with family and loved ones. Under the special arrangement, departures from Lagos will be at 7:45 a.m., 1:40 p.m. and 4 p.m., while trains from Ibadan will depart at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. The corporation clarified that the increase is strictly temporary and will only apply during the festive period, after which the regular 4-trip Tuesday schedule will resume. It also noted a temporal adjustment to Thursday operations, reducing services to 4 trips on May 28, 2026, before returning to standard 6-trip schedule the following week. Nigeria's banking system is expected to record a major liquidity surge this week as over 3.1 trillion naira inflows from Federation Accounts Allocation Committee (FEC) disbursements and maturing open market operations (OMO) bills enter the financial system. Analysts estimate that the inflow includes about 1.2 trillion naira from FEC allocations and approximately 1.97 trillion naira from maturing OMO bills. The development is expected to sustain strong liquidity levels and keep short-term funding rates relatively stable despite ongoing liquidity tightening measures by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. Market watchers note that the inflow will provide temporary relief to funding pressures in the money market. Meanwhile, The money market closed the previous week with a positive liquidity, balance of 2.79 trillion naira, down from 3.82 trillion naira the week before. The decline was attributed to debt from OMO insurance, treasury bill settlements, and federal government bond repayments. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to improving public service delivery through sovereign digital infrastructure, artificial intelligence, and accelerated digitalization at the International Civil Service Conference ICSC 2026 in Abuja. The event brought together heads of service, senior government officials, reform experts, and technology stakeholders to discuss the future of governance and digital transformation in Africa. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, DTAH, said the civil service is embracing innovation and technology-driven reforms to enhance efficiency and accountability. She disclosed that all 38 federal ministries and extra-ministerial departments met the December 2025 deadline for full digitalization and transition to paperless governance. She added that the service-wise GPT platform has recorded over 50,000 interactions, stressing that AI is meant to support, not replace human judgment. She also credited President Bola Tinubu's leadership and commended ongoing support from Galaxy Backbone and partners driving Nigeria's digital transformation agenda.
Okay. Oh yes, we are done with that, and so we're taking our stock exchange right now to tell you about the things that have happened quite recently, especially Friday, because this is the beginning of the week. So normally it's by the later part of the day that we'll get to hear what happens here. But let's say that the market closed the week flat with weak liquidity and mixed breath. And some of the numbers we can look at, we're talking about the way it closed. The all-share index was at 249,712.37 points, up 536.98 points, or 0.22% on the day. And for market capital, it was 160.1 trillion naira, about $117 billion dollars. Okay, and the year to date, that is for Friday, was 60.47%. And for the week performance, it went down 0.25% for the week, but up 12.06% over 4 weeks. Then talking about the trading activities that went on, there was, sizable volume, talking about 711,830,450 shares that were traded. And then for the value, we had 29.08 billion naira in value, and then 62,284 deals that came on. And then also the value of 29.08 billion naira in 62,284 deals as well. And so we look at the change, talking about the way it was on Thursday. On Thursday, the change was, the volume was 33%, the turnover went down to 6%. But then, again, when you talk about top by volume, Fidelity Bank took it up, 198 million shares, and then Access Bank came up also 69. And then, for now, I'll just say that concerning that is what we will do. And straight away, we also look at some other monetary matters immediately. And moving from stock exchange to talk about the monetary matters, monetary review, we have the CBN warning against return to intervention policies. If I were to mention the way it is, I would say that the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Olayemi Cardoso, Minister, has cautioned against renewed pressure on the Apex Bank to return to intervention programs that were widely used in the past. He warned that such measures created serious distortions in the bank's financial position and weakened the effectiveness of monetary policy. So Cardoso said the credibility gradually being restored to the CBN over the last 2.5 years was largely due to the bank's decision to rely on more conventional monetary policy tools rather than unorthodox interventions. He said the Apex Bank would continue to focus on transparency, evidence-based decision-making, and institutional reforms aimed at achieving sustainable macroeconomic stability. And of course, this warning came as the Apex Bank released the latest household expectation survey showing that consumer confidence index will rise to 107 points in the next 6 months, signaling a more optimistic outlook for the economy. And then we look at LPG marketers. They call for intervention to stabilize gas market because we are seeing something that is happening in this gas market that is getting out of hand. The government should also think about it. I wonder what they are doing at a time like this. And so to make sure that it goes on, that nothing stops it, we need to also look at that. The Nigerian Association of Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers, NAPGAM, they called on the federal government, the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, and NNPC, or that domestic producers, terminal operators, international suppliers, and all critical stakeholders, and they made that call in the LPG value chain to take urgent, to say that they need to take the urgent and coordinated steps to stabilize the market before it degenerates further. The body said it is constrained to draw the attention of critical stakeholders in the sector to the state of the erratic supply and hike in price of liquefied petroleum gas LPG, otherwise known as cooking gas. It warned that if left unchecked, may spiral out of hand. According to data from the Nigerian National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, over the last 9 months, there has been a rise in the cost of LPG. Average retail price for refilling a 5 kg cylinder of LPG increased by 12.60%, that is 12.60% on a month-on-month basis, from 6,799 naira 18 kobo recorded in February 2026 to 7,655 naira 73 kobo in March 2026. On a year-on-year basis, this increased by 4.55% from 7,322 naira 49 kobo in March. Checks by the checks showed that gas price rose sharply at the weekend to 1,600 naira, sustaining a trend that has been ongoing in the last 2 weeks. The commodity sold for between 1,500 naira per kg and 1,600 naira per kg across the country from previous 1,200 naira per kg. So consumers and marketers of the commodity fear that the price may further rise to 2,000. It has no reason. People are already beginning to say that it is recent. It's yet to rise, but they are afraid it may still get there. And you know, one thing about the Nigerian market is that when they hear such things, they take up the price just unilaterally like that, or arbitrarily like that, which is very wrong. And they're talking about 2,000 naira per kg in the coming days, except urgent measures are taken by stakeholders across the value chain. The price increase was predicated on lingering supply scarcity that has continued unabated. Did you hear that word? A fortnight ago. The situation, marketers said, has severely hampered loading operations. Conversely, this has led to commodity now selling at prohibitive costs, depending on the location. For instance, a 20 metric ton empty LPG now costs between 25.2 million naira or 26.2 million naira, depending on the location. So it's important that we look at these and run from the things that will cause problem as far as the nation is concerned. And that is the much we will take from that sector as I will return here to tell you more about what we have. Thank you so much. That's going in from the monetary review. And now, back to the program proper. Let me say that I have a guest, as I did say. She is a farmer. That's the way she likes to be addressed, above all else. And then she's a community development expert, as I've also mentioned earlier. A passionate advocate for resource justice, economic justice, transparency, and gender inclusion in Africa, not just Nigeria, but in Africa. Seasoned civil society leader with over 16 years of experience advancing transparency, accountability, and gender inclusion in Africa's extractive sector. Africa's extractive sector. I know I'm stressing extractive sector. She currently serves as the National Coordinator of the Resource Justice Network Nigeria, RJNN, where she leads a coalition of civil society organizations championing equitable and sustainable natural resource management in Nigeria. As a civil society representative and board member of the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NIGCOMSAT, and through its National Stakeholders Working Group, she plays a pivotal role in shaping policy reforms that promote citizen benefits and institutional accountability in the extractive industries. She is also the Executive Director of Developmnt Foundation, driving initiatives that empower women, youth, PLWDs, as people living with diseases and disabilities, and strengthen the resilience of extractive host communities. Previously, she served as the West African Anglophone representative for publish What You Pay, that is PWYP, coordinating regional advocacy and fostering cross-country collaboration for improved resource governance. Work sits at the intersection of natural resource governance, gender justice, and community development, and she is widely recognized as a leading voice advocating for inclusive, transparent, and people-centered extractive sector reforms across Nigeria and the wider African region. Well, she just got nominated. Congratulations, I must say. She just got nominated to the Board of Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, 80. And that is who we have today on the program. I was expecting you to show her, not me, please. Thank you. She is the one I've been talking about, not myself. And so she is the one that we have today. And so let me say welcome one more time to Dr. Danladi Risa Seriki. Good to have you on the program.
I'm happy to be here on this program this morning. Yeah. A very good morning to Nigeria. Good morning.
Yes. Elisa, I want to say that something that's very important that we need to talk about here is how we can help our people. I mean, talking about the populace in Africa, not the bourgeoisie, not talk about that. I'm talking about the community people, local community people, how we can help them. If you look at the topic we have for today, we said it's, what's that topic again? It's community development. Yes, community development. And even as we have community development, there is a rider there which is moving in tandem with the world. How do you think that can happen? Let's begin with that. And but before you tell us, community development, what is it all about?
So, thank you again, and I'm happy to be on this platform.
Right.
And we're happy to also that you have us in mind, my constituents, the community, and thank God we're talking about community development this morning. So, just in a layman's word or term, community development is where you see progressive shift from what we used to have, where we have the basic amenities that can support our livelihoods in the community. So basically that's what we look for, where we have whatever that it is that is to support the livelihood of a community. It's there in the community to make life easier, to also be part of progress and what the government is doing around the globe.
Okay, and looking at what the government is doing around the globe, using that last one now, how much have you seen that how much has happened to the community dwellers, rural dwellers, concerning one development or the other? And remember, talking about extractive industry and all that. There are so many things that not okay that happen when you talk about the fact that when the raw materials are being inhaled by people and other things, these things even touched, it can bring one problem or the other to the society. Yes. And I know you're in the fore in talking about what should be done to help the people. Please, let's hear you talk about it here.
So for us, first of all, I am the Executive Director of Mother Hen Development Foundation, which is a community-based organization where we work around host communities, and there we also see a lot of challenges from health issues, health concerns, and the likes of it. I also coordinate the Resource Justice Network, where we talk about natural resources as it concerns mining, it concerns oil and gas, and of course agriculture that has been added to the discourse this time around, seeing how we can, how our natural resources is also being a blessing to the community, not a cost like what we always all have around the globe, but seeing that what we got, what God has given us mercifully, is being also to the benefit of the community where it's domicile. So for us, this is what we want to see when we came together as civil society around, just for your information, we're a civil society coalition that have the most civil society together in the world. Where we talked about extractives, or we talked about transparency, accountability, how it affects our community. So for us, we are looking forward to see, like I said, what is being underneath us is a blessing to the community. So, and how can we achieve that? We can only achieve that when our government or when our system is working. So when we have a system that is understanding that when we extract and the companies come in, the royalties gotten should be translating to development in the community. What do we mean? Just basic things, like I said, like healthcare, we like school, like facilities that can just support livelihood in the community. These are the extensions, these are the this is what we look forward for us to be able to have to say a community has or is developing and is part of the system. So for us, we look at how that's why we work with, we look at what the company is paying to the government. How is the government utilizing these resources? Are they doing what is expected of them in the communities? Are they providing this basic health care? Like I keep sharing where I come from, I'm from Gombe, and we have a site that Lafarge has been mining for some time. And when you get pregnant in my community, then you tend to lose the baby like 3 months. Why? Because at then first we thought it was just our natural or cultural way of, you know, but we found out that we inhale those babies from the coal. And of course, we get to face a lot of health challenge as women, as children, as even a community as a whole. So what is the government doing to that, to address that? Of course, the government might not have its eyes there, and that is why the civil society like Resource Justice Network, which was formerly the Publish What You Pay Nigeria, came in, and then we saw the need for us to be able to advocate seriously for the community to have at least a functional healthcare system or service where these women are attended to immediately they present themselves. And I tell you, this has been one of our testimony in Nigeria, that we're able to work with the government, with the companies, to be able to build a befitting clinic that is functional for the people or for the women, the children, to be able to access as soon as they can. This are what we are looking forward to. And we have a lot of issues around, especially the south where we have the oil and gas being explored. We don't even have this facility to support their health care. We don't have good roads to even get there. It's something. You find out that living there, livelihoods, you know, living is so very difficult for them to do. This is what we're calling up to the government, the companies, to ensure that what we're getting from this natural God-given resource is being utilized for the people's benefit.
okay, what we're getting is being utilized for people's benefit. That's a serious talk, because we've had this point of, remember, before we started talking about resource control, like using oil, for an instance, that they used to say that there are certain things that should be given to the community, host community. And up to today, anyway, it's still going on, but it's just that it's been made a little better now. Because like those in River State, Bayelsa State, and all around there, sometimes the gas gets flared and it kills all the fish in the water around that period until some other ones will migrate into the place and start developing again to have fresh ones. And so I understand this. It's something that is economically dangerous, I must say, for the people, because it's retrogressive. Now we should think of what to do, what should happen to make sure that these things are well taken care of, so that the communities, the host communities, will benefit from what God has given to them. Because this is a natural gift from God that should help people get better. But then people are trying to turn it into making it cause problem for the people, which shouldn't be. Thank you so much for your organization doing a great work in that. And then we want to say, looking at the fact that some women will give birth within 3 months, the children will die, and we wonder, is it natural? Is it cultural? Is it spiritual? Because all these things we put together, and they talk about, is there an enemy somewhere trying to make witchcraft and all that? Incidentally, you have been able to trace it to this particular problem. And now, how is it being handled? Looking at the fact that there should be health facilities around, how well do you think they have come, especially those companies doing these things? Are they being held responsible among, number one, and are they providing these health facilities to help the women and the children and everybody in the society?
Yes, so we have the clinic is there, but yes, when it started, when we had that, it was so functional. We had the clinic maintained both with the state government and the company and of course the community. But of course, sometimes we say it's Nigerian factor where we don't really give some, there's how we'll just be careless around it. And sometimes the women would call to complain that, oh, we don't even have staff again. But one of the things that Mother Hen was able to do for that community was to build their capacity to understand how to advocate for these issues. So you don't wait for Resource Justice Network to come from Abuja to go to your community, but because we have trained a quite number of them where we would allow them understand how to advocate for issues, how to also negotiate, how to be able to see that these issues that we all are talking about, they are all part of the decision making. Being part of that help them to also go back to these companies to say, oh, this is what is happening, this is the situation, and this is what we're expecting to do. So this community, yes, the company has been on it, and they're trying their best, even though we would need more as the Oliver that we are in the community, so that we have at least a resident doctor where he can also consult with this with the patients each time they come, not just giving us just one nurse and then leaving it like that. And that again, talking about communities around the country, what Resource Justice Network has been able to do from last year till we are on, even though it's a pilot, we also have, together with the support of Mother Hen, of course, we were able to bring or have a dashboard, what we call the Community Monitoring Network, where we see that in most of these communities where we have, especially the host communities, where we have all these extractive activities happening, and then, we want to also be part of a reporting system, because sometimes the institutions that are responsible to also oversee this don't domicile in the community. So we feel as part of also giving back and being part of this integration that we want to see around the government, around the communities and the companies, we also want to involve the community and the institutions. So what we did was to train our people in the community to also know how to report these issues. So you don't just wake up because you don't like a particular scene and just report for reporting's sake, but you undergo the regiment of the training on how to report these issues in your community and attract attention and also attract immediate action as it should be. So we have this platform where we have the institutions, some of them on it, and then our people report, so you could just see it as you log into that platform. That has helped us from the samples of pilots that we have done. We have seen that, oh, it's a way forward to go, because now it's making the community interested and safeguarding what is theirs. So immediately there is a temper, whether it be the pipeline or anything, the community people immediately report or escalate that, and we take it to the appropriate people. So for our institution, so for us, this is also from where we're coming from. It's a leap from where we're coming from, and it's progressive, because now we'll be able to be part of the decision making around the extractive activities happening around our communities.
Okay, thank you so much. You look at an area like Adama, there is lead, and there is a problem that has to do with it, because lead is everywhere, even like sand everywhere. The first time I went there, I was shocked. I said, it is how blessed this country is. You know, I saw a lot. And that was many years back, and I know we still have such things all over there. And there is also a very strong need for medical presence, you know, the presence of the medical team, medical personnel, to ensure that their water is not contaminated, you know, because if it's not pure, it is contaminated. And so with lead being everywhere, it could lead to death and a lot of impairment in one aspect or the other of their lives. There is tin in Plateau State, you know, the iron ore, and then there is even in Kano, and these other areas. We have all these in Zamfara, yes, you know, and all of these. And I keep wondering, even coal, this is mentioned, yes, in Gombe State, I think there is. So there is need for effective handling of these things. It's a good thing that you're doing a great work. We must thank you for it. What we're asking is government involvement. Are you satisfied with the involvement of the government at a time like this concerning all these? Because what I'm saying this is that sometimes the government may not even be there specifically, but they could compel those companies that are involved in the extractive industry to do more, as those ones in those ones down south have done. There could be pressure from the government and from the ministry that is also concerned to make sure that they do something. Apart from just they themselves coming, but of course, they should also not only pressurize them, they should also try to supervise and get involved. How much do we see this?
Well, so to be fair to the Nigerian government, we have seen them involved and being part of it, though we would expect, like I said,
but more, as you said, like yes,
so we want to see more of their presence in this issues and this community or in this intervention. Basically, for us, we see it as a tribal stand, where you have the government, you have the companies, of course, you have the
community,
the community. So when they have this, they should be able to consider at every decision, at every juncture, to also have these people together. What we saw and what we're seeing in the southern part of the country, where we have the oil and gas more, it's a decade of advocacy, pushing the government to see that natural resources benefit the community.
Even more than a decade, I must say.
Of course, over a decade,
so yes,
right?
Much over that, yes.
So that is why we have this arrangement that we have, where you also give back to the states that have their oil producing state.
Yes.
They have some allocation from the government. We also have now some community funds that are also being there. And then talking for you, asking about what we're doing for the North. The Mining Cadastre and the Ministry of Mines and Solid Mineral have now been more proactive. In fact, we have a lot of debate, and I am sure within some couple of months or so, be able to have this I don't know if to tell if it's a survey or so, where they have been carrying out all these surveys around how do we enhance, especially the mining, because that is under you know, we're not taking advantage of what we have coming out, especially from the mining sector. So now, how do we ensure that we understand what is happening in the mining sector? We have control of what is happening in the mining sector, not just some foreigners coming in, meeting local people, doing illegal mining and taking our resources. So they are deliberate now in ensuring that they safeguard this and ensure that it's reported for transparency and accountability. So but we're still looking forward to this, what they will concretely do. Some say, oh, can we privatize the mining sector like we did the oil and gas and all that? So there are lots of discussions around that. But we see now the attention is coming around how do we ensure that our mining communities also benefit from what is coming from what they have. And the interest now is for us, especially in the Resource Justice Network and the extractive sector, is moving to energy transition. So how are we also ensuring that we're moving with the train? Because we'll come to a time where, like you just read from the gas scenario where we're having in Nigeria, how are we utilizing lithium? How are we utilizing other minerals to be able to give, for instance, our community some succor? Because it's still the same community that goes to buy the gas. So how are we having alternatives? How are we transitioning? How are we making to have alternate and better minerals resources around the country? So yes, I would say the government is looking into that, and we are not also left behind. We're carrying out some study to be able to support, bring up policy briefs to be able to say, this is the direction, this is what we think around what is happening based on our community engagement, based on our interaction with what is happening and the reality on the ground. So yes, the government is doing their best, and we together, we're also supporting for our voice to be heard while they write the policy. And that is why for me as the board member for NATI, it's key, where you also go into the community, interact with the community, and then you're coming to give a first-hand feedback to ensure and enhance policy development in Nigeria.
Thank you so much. It's important because that's why I really had to bring it up. Because you are the one that will be able to get into that meeting, that hall, and present what you've seen among those in the community. Because definitely there are communities, rather, because they won't be able to come out to present themselves or their cases. Otherwise, it would have been that they are beginning to take the laws into their hands. And so with someone like you being a kind of a liaison person, liaising between the people and the government, a lot more will happen. I also want to say thanks to the Minister Dele Alake, that is doing something beautiful, because there's something in the news today that we found that the federal government is making effort to block mining revenue leakages, you know, and illegal operations in new sectoral framework that they've just created. I want to thank the minister for that, because we need to see a lot come from that sector. A lot will happen, and when it is effectively taken care of, you know, it will help the people. Since you are being told not to return to the use of firewood and charcoal, then gas should be easily available for everyone to have, and not to talk of this country that has LNG, LPG, and all the LNGs that we have. We should have it. We should have, I mean, there's a huge reserve of these that, I mean, I remember under former President Ibrahim Babangida, IBB, great man, I must say, that under him a lot happened. He was one that brought forth, to the fore this factor, this talk about the fact that there is liquefied natural gas. There's liquefied natural gas in Nigeria. Yes. So it was under him that the Nigeria liquefied natural gas thing started effectively. And I remember that then we were told that there will be, when the exportation of the Nigerian liquefied natural gas starts going, that it would even overtake the export of crude oil, the way we have seen it. And but I don't know what happened along the way. It has not come up the way it was aimed to be. And if such happens, since we have that capacity and to create, to get this sort of thing done, then it should mean, let me use the word, that here in the country, there should be, almost zero payment for gas, honestly, in Nigeria. If we are using it, it will just be something that, since they're encouraging people to stop using the others, get 12.5 kg for 2,000 naira. You know, that sort of thing. That way, we would encourage people to do more. Not today that they're telling us that the way it is now, if it is not taken care of, we will now get to have that the 12.5 kg of cooking gas will now become 25,000. Yes, the way it is, the way it's going now, that's what it will be. So it's better that it's neat right now. This one, I don't even know what I was doing. I think it's gone beyond the board. But let them nip it.
Yes.
There's need to nip it.
There is. But then we need to also look at the root issues. That's what we're really not addressing properly. Where we would see that, yes, we have it, it's there, and we can enhance it, we can harness it, but we're not harnessing it. Yes. We're not giving it a try. We're not focusing on ensuring that we are taking advantage of what we have. We're just concentrating more on the crude and how to refine and how to export. We're not really looking at, and for instance, what's happening around lithium. Yes. We have it here in Nasarawa State. Yes, it's in Nasarawa State. A lot of it is in Nasarawa State. We have the opportunity. We don't have energy. We don't have. When you have it, you could create a lot. Yes. We're talking about we import all the time. For solar and all over. From everything. And then we could have not all of it down here. Even the solar, recently we're researching on how alternative cooking options. Yes. And we came up with a pot that uses solar. So from 8 a.m. when the sun is out or so, till about 4 p.m. you are able to cook with God-given sunlight. Yes. So these are the opportunity that our government should be looking at. Bring succor to the community. You understand? Because if you don't look at this alternate, you keep just looking at the crude. It will just be there. But what we have and enhance this, in fact, bring the factory to Nigeria. Yes, we understand that there's a mini factory around Nasarawa State, but no. Go into it with the whole of the resources, and then let's mine lithium and let's process it. Let's also begin to produce the batteries. Let's also begin to do the panels in Nigeria. That would also bring aside employment. It will also reduce the cost. So it will not be when you're importing things, you'll be able to, because you're producing here, the cost of production is low. So I'll be able to have a whole lot, and you can turn and start exporting. That's like China is doing. Exactly, because it will become a foreign exchange area, which is what it should have been all the way. Of course. I mean, almost every part of Nasarawa State has lithium. So I wonder why, just as you mentioned, there is a mini factory. We need a main factory, not a mini one. So that we have visit the factory. So I'm planning to go visit and then see the kind of activities and what they are even doing. Yes. Because we're just hearing there is and there is. So if the Nigerian government, the Nasarawa State government, will just take it and say, basically, this is what we want to concentrate to be able to support our communities, to ensure that what we're getting from the the extract, the mining is utilized, is being turned around. It has a value chain that can feed the whole of the state, and not even the whole of the country. So it's something we're asking the government to look at, aside even the gas that you mentioned, to ensure that the Nigerian communities also enjoy this God-given bless, and then we don't have much to worry. When you get the proceeds from that, you build our health facilities. Proceeds from that, you give our children good education. We have access to good roads. Our markets, our farms are motorable. Going to my farm, if it rains, you'll just be thinking. Of course, improve security around the system so that we can also have that. So these are the things the common average community person is expecting the government to do. We're not expecting for handouts or for that. No, we're expecting for this concrete basic amenities to have in our communities to make life or livelihood easy for us.
You know, someone told me long ago, and I think it is still effective up to today, that Nigerians are about the best set of people you can meet in this world. He said that the little thing you give them is enough for them to go ahead.
The average Nigerian person is a contented person.
That when we just develop these little things, leave Nigerians, they will develop the rest by themselves.
Of course.
They will do the rest.
Because there are opportunities, and Nigerians, the average Nigerian is a very creative person. They take advantage of whatever situation, whatever they have, and they utilize it. So you find out that there will be a lot of value chain, and so at every value chain stop, you'll be able to see people either engage in the process, being employed, or even employing other people. So for us, give us this opportunity, make this available to the community, and I'm sure that we'll take advantage of that positively.
Yes, as they will say, that when we get to have all these, the sky will be our limit. I will say again, we will go beyond the start. We will be beyond that the sky will be our starting point. We will just go like beyond what even they do in China, because these are little things that are done in China. That I remember again, I sang this song some time ago, a long time ago on this program. I want to sing it again. This time it's a musical group called Musical Youth. There's this song they released years back, more than 20 years ago, and that song is even up to 30 years ago now. That song is called Don't Blame the Youths, you know? And it's like, don't blame the youths, da, 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 don't blame the youths. And they play the song, and they're playing it. And as a stage, when I started listening to get to understand why they say don't blame the youths, it got to a point where, towards the end, they said, we used to do it in a musical workshop. We used to do it in a musical workshop. And what is it? That they do production in their musical workshop. They produce all this equipment. So is it in China that in their little workshops, in their car parks, they are producing things, using lithium to bring things that will help someone stay back, cook, and enjoy your life. You don't even have to bother about this big money. And thank God that they're thinking about, you are mentioning about getting these things again. It's important. So that it could be so well developed that even in schools, in higher institutions, not even, I'm not talking about universities, in secondary schools, even vocational centers, people will come and learn how to construct these little things that can help make life better. And that way, it wouldn't cost much, you know? So we need all this. We need all this. Well, I must say that you're being here today, Dr. Elisa, has been great, because you have helped us a whole lot to talk about these things, and opening our eyes to seeing these is an important thing. Thank you so much, because I know that there are great things you still have. And I must say, it's been wonderful sharing the moments with you, because it's not easy to lay hands on you. Yes, exactly. Because I've been making efforts for a long time to locate you and get you to be on this program. Let's talk. It's a good thing that eventually it has happened.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for the most recent appointment. As you go, remember us all as you move on.
Of course.
Remember KAFTAN television. We can talk about whatever you do anyway.
Of course. I'm happy to be here for the first time, and I'll show you I'll bring my team. I'll always make referral because I believe we should be able to promote our own, very own TV. And for me, I was sharing with you earlier that I'm also part and process of this because I am also a thespian. My first degree is theatre arts, and then I have this is a good thing, and we're happy to have this station. And then for the recent nomination, it's for Nigeria, and we hope that that position will also reposition Nigeria better and in the extractive world around the globe. So we hope that we'll be able to go there to ensure that we are also watching out to see how we're bringing meaningful development to our communities and to our country.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Well, dear viewer, I've had Dr. Erisa Danladi. Let me mention Sariki too, as part of our program for today. She's been there, a community development expert, and as she also prefer to be mentioned, a farmer. Well, thank you so much for being here today. And we have discussed community development moving in tandem with the rest of the world. Dear viewer, what we have done today, you can still stay back and watch because it has been streamed live, and you always find on YouTube and on the Facebook